racing on the street, and that's the whole format of keeping the street racing alive. We're doing it on a professional level now, but it's still on the street.
It's still on the street.
Yeah. So I bring my car on the street.
Okay. So the fact that you're here in Sonoma on this track is sort of a little out of the ordinary for you, because.
Well, I would say it was on the ordinary for me. Now that I've developed my association,
okay.
Now we're track racing as well as going and taking opportunities to go on a TV show and race.
Okay.
I'll be on a TV show in September.
What was it like growing up with your dad? How did he get? Because from what I understand, what you guys wrote on your website, you have the three brothers, right?
Yes.
And you were the one that ended up being the most into racing because of him. Tell me about growing up with him and how he sort of introduced you to the game.
Well, growing up with him, it was like I was Mr. Hot Rod. When I went to school, when he drove me to school, he had a Charger that he raced. And that was our car that he took me to school in. And he would sometimes burn a little rubber when he dropped me off and leave. And all the kids would jump around and go crazy. And I was like the cool kid that my dad would pull up in a hot rod, you know? So after that, we would drive around in his second race car that I know, our second race car to me that we drove around is he had a Camaro. And we would drive around and go to the speed shops, and cars would put up on the side of us, and we would race. And we would get out, and late night, he would have races set up. We were street racing. My whole life with him, it was all about street racing.
And that just sort of developed into this, basically.
Exactly. I was a hot rod junkie, man. I remember going to my mother had a lot of sisters, and I had cousins, and I would go spend the night over their house, and their mothers would tell me to be quiet for making all the noise, and I would drive around like I was a race car all day. Because I had my Hot Wheels, and I would, make the race car sounds, and they would scream at me, shut up all that noise. And that's all I wanted to do was race cars.
How has the TV show helped you do what your business?
Wow, tremendously, man. The TV show put the light on me and let everybody see what I was all about. And here in California, we didn't have anybody who were mainstream like I was able to get on the TV shows and to put the light on them. So it enhanced my name, my grudge racing events. It made them huge because I was able to promote events from my popularity from being on the TV show, and I developed friends from outside of the different states, and I would bring those cars out here, and all from the TV show. It was just all from being under the spotlight and me having these friends and having my popularity.
I read that on, I think, Friday before the first, your guys' first race, there's something called a call-out.
Right.
Tell me about that. What's that?
That's how we go deep down in our roots. That's our grudge racing style of racing. And that's my association. The big part of my association is we have a thing where we pull out of a hat and we draw out of a hat for you to be able to race, know who you're going to race in the first round. And we also have a grudge style call out, and that is if I call you out, our name don't go in the hat. You and I race for however much money we want to race for to be able to move on to the next round.
So you can say I don't want to do the random thing. I want to call that MFer out.
Right.
He's mine.
Right. And that comes from you guys not liking each other, not personally, but personally, because you want to race this guy, you think you're faster than this guy, you guys, crew's been talking mess to each other for weeks, and it's time to settle the score. So that's definitely our, what we call it, going back to our roots with our style of racing.
Is there anyone you'd like to call out right now? Does it work? I mean, it's honestly though. Is there actually some bad blood that kind of?
Oh, yeah. Big time. These guys who race, it's like what I say. It's like your car is your prize fighter. You got your heart into it. Everybody is out to cut each other's throat off. It's last man standing.
I mean, let's just say you lose a race to somebody on Friday. Are you going to have a beer with them or something later that night?
You know what? To be honest, at the end of the day, we all friends.
Yeah.
but it's a battle zone during the race time. And sometimes tempers flare up to where they won't have a beer later on. You know, they might wave at each other and keep walking, but for the most part, it's a battle. It's like, you know, this type of racing, you make friends, but you create enemies also.
That's part of the fun, right?
That's part of the fun, yeah.
This is my last question. You sort of touched on it where you said the reason 10 years ago why you wanted to create this association was because you wanted to bring some sort of level of legality to street racing. You wanted to make it sort of above ground, above board. Is there a certain reason why that you want to do that for safety's sake, or is there illegal street racing? Is there something about it that you feel that there needs to be sort of a level of legality to it, or is that always going to be that way, and that's just kind of how the game works?
Well, I definitely created this style of racing because I'm a true grudge racer. I'm a true street racer, but it's not safe. It's not the type of racing that you're going to get corporate world to compete in. You want to get an environment that you created where everybody can come and feel safe. Everybody can come and their families can enjoy it. But we don't lose the feel of the battle that we had when we was on the street, because to be honest with you, all racers develop from street racing. Everybody went through high school. Everybody had some type of car that they wanted to race against their friend's car. And that's where all our racing started from. So my association, bringing it to the professional scene and keeping it on the street level form was to try to bring back. And actually, I have a lot of guys who's joining my association, who's talking about joining my association, who want to get back that fire of that street race field and get back to vetting guys and get back to because street racing didn't have clocks. That's why I have no time shown in my races. Nobody know what their car runs. It's the first run to the finish line.
Okay.
And that's the street race feel that you get when you're racing with us.
That's because you don't want those times out there for you just want to say, it's more about feel and emotion than it is about seeing a number on a piece of paper.
Exactly, and it's also to keep you at bay. You don't know what my car runs. If I light the board up and you see how fast my car is and you know your car can't run that time, then you won't challenge me.
Yeah, right.
You know, so it's all for the gambling.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jermaine. That's a great interview. I learned a lot. Oh, we have an audience behind us. You got a mic on you there. Let me get it. Is your dad?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm a little long there.
That's cool.
Let's get one of those field and like it's like walking over right now.
It actually, no. I tell you why. Because this is why I've created such a buzz. Because it's my races, my grudge races I throw here are humongous. I get the big crowd, like 20,000 people. And with the type of racing that goes on around here, you get racers, but you get no ones in the stands. You get nobody. So what happens?
You mean here?
Well, it's NHRA, of course.
Yeah, okay.
These big
Yeah,
professionals,
sure.
you get it.
They're here.
But they also, it's on a downfall. Like the smaller classes, like pro stock, they're falling off. Because people just don't want to see the same old stuff. They want to see cars that took them to high school. They want to see these turbo cars that's popping woolies at the finish line. Those cars are so professionally built. When you watch them race, they don't move around. They don't do nothing. It's like, you know, it ain't as exciting as turbo car popping woolies and fire shooting out the side because this guy got nitro.
Do you guys have any interaction with the Top Fuel guys? Will you have any interaction with them?
We definitely will, because since we're on the same stage, we look up to those guys. Those guys basically are the ones who made it.
Yeah.
But those guys started where we started at.
Yeah.
And they appreciate what we do.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So they're not big timing you or anything like
No.
that?
They actually respect us because we're crazy enough to be on the street with 5,000, 4,000 horsepower. You know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it goes both ways. But the feel, to answer the question, the feel of the street, my races, the difference is when we go to my grudge race to Sacramento, we get 200-300 people on the start line. They won't allow us to do that here. They won't allow us to get, like, when you're on the street, everybody's sitting on the start line, the cars is right here, it's the same field. The only difference is they back us up here. But because we keep the clocks off, here I am, the first person on the West Coast to ever have a race where the clocks will be off. So you got NHRA going, and then you got us pulling up, and when we run, they're gonna shut the clocks off. We've never had that. So this is actually me and the West Coast making history because never have an NHRA style allowed this type of style
With the
racing.
clocks off.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you
Look
about
at your start line at our race. A whole bunch of people.
Wow, that's a ton.
Wow.
And if you get to, well, that's just a small picture. That's in the daytime. You get that at night, it's way more packed than that. But that's just give you that feeling. And everybody on that start line is betting money. I promise you, that's the reason why they want to be there. It's money. I mean, it's $500 to $10,000 on that start line. Everybody is betting with the cars, and that's just the style of racing that they picking back up on now. This is the reason why they had me at these type of events. Like, yeah.
You want to get Kenny in here? You want to get in? We'll be with you guys in a second.
Okay.
We'll do more in a second. Yeah. How you doing?
Let them do their thing.
Nice to meet you. Nice
We're
to meet you.
recording everything.
I know, man.
I don't miss it.